welcome to the driver's seat of the new BMW iX2. Now before we begin, we have done a full walk around of this car, so please, if you want to see more on the details of the exterior and interior design, I will touch on them today, but please use the link in the top of the screen to check out that video. Now, let's get cracking with how this car drives. The iX2 is another model in the growing portfolio of BMW i products. It's based off the new BMW X2, and I for one firstly think the new X2 looks absolutely fantastic both outside and in. I love the more aggressive look and the sloping rear, which is more aligned with the model lineup than the previous shape X2. This one I think fits the brief much more as a sloping, more coupe-esque version of the X1. But let's talk about how it drives. Now, of course, because it's electric, it is very, very quiet. Of course, there's not really there's no powertrain noise. You get a very faint hum from the motors, which obviously I think is engineered in to the speakers, because otherwise, there's no need for these things to make any noise whatsoever. I think the ride is superb. This one is riding on the 19-inch alloy wheels. You can go up a level and have some 20s and have bigger wheels, but I think this one is absolutely fine the way it is. The ride is really, really good. We're on some really horrible B roads today. It's cold, it's wet, it's miserable. The roads are greasy, but this car is riding over them supremely well. The damping setup is really, really good. It feels just super accomplished on the road. It feels like it can handle, well, the terrible roads that we have here in the UK. They're so broken up and potholy, and we have a lot of camber, a lot of undulations in the road, and this car feels like it's handling everything that is thrown at it with a real sense of confidence. It's really, really impressive. The steering is really direct, as you'd expect. You can place the nose really well. Now, I'm not saying for a second that this is a performance car and you're going to be driving it particularly quickly, because let's be honest, you're probably not. But if you wanted to, you can, because this 30 has just over 300 horsepower, which means that 0 to 62 is dealt with in around 5.6 seconds, which is only around 2/10 off the time for the X2 M35i, which is mighty impressive. But we've always known that electric cars are fast in a straight line. They just are. It's that immediate torque delivery that just delivers every single time. As soon as you go near the throttle, it just takes off. It really does. There's plenty of poke in this car. This one, four-wheel drive as well, so there's plenty of confidence in it, even on horrendous roads and terrible conditions. I mean, in the UK we very rarely get snow, but everybody always talks about, oh, BMWs, they're terrible in the snow for the 2 days a year we get it. But you'd have no issues with this at all. It's super, super confidence inspiring, and it sticks to the road really well. There's a really nice feeling to the initial turn-in as well on the steering wheel. It feels like you are really connected to the road. You know exactly what the front wheels are doing at all times. It's just a really capable car to drive, and just the thing is, it's not a performance SUV, it's not a performance electric vehicle, it's just your everyday electric car, and I think it is a superb machine for that purpose. It's so comfortable, it's so quiet, these seats are brilliant, they really hug you down here. There's great lumbar support as well. The view out, front, sides, wing mirrors is really good. The back is a little bit small, obviously due to the coupe design, but the boot space is plenty big enough for what you're going to need. It is just a super capable all-round car. But what about charging this thing? The iX2 will charge up to 130 kilowatts, which means that 10% to 80% can take around 40 minutes. However, the most common way that you're going to charge these is on an 11 kilowatt at home, which means that it will then go from 10% to 80 in around 6.5 hours, or otherwise overnight. And that'll give you a full charge range of around 260 miles on the WLTP cycle on this iX2 30. But ultimately, I think the iX2 is a fantastic product. I think they've really taken the game on. This interior is leagues ahead of the previous one. They've really brought this new design language forwards and have really sort of run with it with these newer cars. I think it's a great place to sit, a great place to spend time. The infotainment, don't get me wrong, does get some getting used to, but let's be honest, you're just going to link your phone to it, aren't you? You're going to use your wireless Android Auto or your Apple CarPlay, which is then, again, super easy to use. Everything is on the screen now. There's not any air conditioning buttons or so on in the center. There's very little in terms of buttons anywhere, to be honest. It's all now controlled through the center screen. The view in front of you is fantastic. It's the newer BMW interface with the new design directly in front, which you can kind of change and have a few different displays on there. But yeah, I think it's a very capable, usable car. It's a lovely thing to drive. You've got regen brakes, of course, because it's electric, and you can change how much you want in the system by having a low, medium, high, or if you want full regen so you can properly one pedal drive this car, you put it into B mode on the gear selector down here, which is not a stick anymore, it's just a little toggle. And then you can really easily drive this car one pedal. When you lift off, it really starts to slow down, and then you learn it. You learn this car, you know when to lift off and when it will slow you down to a creep and then to a complete stop. It's just super easy. You barely even need to use the friction brakes because it'll just stop itself using the regen. It's really, really good, really capable, really, really beautiful to drive. Quality's great. I think it's a fantastic car, this thing. And if you want any more information on the new BMW iX2 or any BMW for that matter, please use the link in the description of this video to contact your nearest Sytner BMW retailer. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel for plenty more content to come, and I will see you guys again really soon.